Hello, everyone. My name is Connor Morton. I'm in the MDiv program here at Fuller, um, and I am actually in my last quarter of classes. I've still got my apprenticeship to do, but these will be my last two classes of the program, so I'm very excited and also strangely nervous about that. Um, I'm located here in Normal, Illinois, so everything's online for me. Normal, Illinois is about 2 hours south of Chicago, for reference. Um, and my religious context would be small town, mid-sized churches, and I am currently a member of the PCUSA, the Presbyterian Church of America, or United States of America, um, and I will be pursuing ordination in that denomination. As I said, I grew up mostly in small towns. I actually grew up Methodist, and my experience with preaching and being a hearer of preaching was mostly limited to that small church atmosphere. We had often around 10 people that would come to church, um, and five of them were my family. And so it was very personal. The messages were, you weren't just a face in a crowd listening to a speaker. You knew the pastor deeply, intimately. And during my formative years, our pastor was, her name was Kim, and she was the person that inspired me to pursue vocational ministry. The depth of her care, of her interest in the congregation's life was extremely evident, and she was a very well spoken, very educated, very interesting, which is not something we got very often. The United Methodist Church still does itinerancy, and so they just assign pastors to various churches as they see fit. And we, being a church of 10 people, rarely got the high demand ones. We often got people who were fresh out of seminary or something like that, somewhere where they could prove, they can be leaders before they get moved on to bigger churches. So having her, an experienced, wise, eloquent, educated, competent person, was incredible. She was the main inspiration for my own preaching that I've done as a leader of a campus ministry for a long time. And so it wasn't until college that I knew. I don't know if this was just because I wasn't aware or was sheltered from it, but there was any dispute about women as leaders in the church. And so when I heard that, was, not surprised, unfortunately, but I never understood because so much of my life has been shaped by a woman preacher. Um, Giving the fact that I grew up in a small town and went to a private university, I was not exposed to much diversity outside of um, gender identity, very, very racially monotoned, um, was where, I grew up. And so I've not been as exposed to as much African American preaching as I think I would like to be, um, coming from a place of privilege. Um, I just never was around much diversity. And that's something that it took until I think my later college years to really understand that there was a lot I was missing out on being around. Um, And so that's part of the reason I'm taking this class is because I am a white, straight man, cis man. My perspective of the world is colored by that. And I do not think that I can be a leader of people without learning other perspectives. And so I think my primary reason for many of the classes I've taken at Fuller is to appreciate other perspectives, um, and provide myself with the tools necessary to be an advocate.